And we're off and running on the Krug Show. Hope everybody's having a great day. It is August the 20th, 8:08 on the West Coast. Tuesday, August the 20th, 2024. 8 minutes after 11 on the East Coast. Welcome to the Krug Show, brought to you by Pig It Up. Pick all the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue you're going to find. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Get some brisket chili. Go tell them that Krug sent you. And this live stream is also brought to you by Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles, 205 Cypress Avenue along the Monterey Peninsula in Pacific Grove, California. Call my friend Anthony Catania at 831-521-5264. And later on, we'll tell you a little bit more about one of our newest sponsors, Better. Better, that's right. This live stream sponsored by Better, the official daily fantasy sponsor of the Krug Show. Use Better to make daily fantasy lineups and win real money. We'll tell you more about that in a bit. Raj is here from RSF 49ers. Niners played the other night, preseason game number 2. There's one more to go. Raj, how are you, man? Good to see you.
I'm good. I'm excited. We got one more preseason game, and then it gets real. I'm excited, though. Good to see you, Larry.
Good to see you. And, a couple weeks ago, I think last week we had Andrew Fittiponi on from Pittsburgh, who we were chasing down on the Aiyuk thing. Thought by now it would be done. It's not. And then I think the week before I might have been taking the boys to the A's White Sox game. So it's been a couple Tuesdays in a row now that we've missed. Normally we go Tuesdays right in this spot with Raj. So, Raj, why don't we start? We titled it Good 49ers News. Trent Williams reportedly signing soon. Aiyuk close to done. Now, according to Deshaun Jackson, the former Cal Bear, he went on FS1 and said that Trent Williams will be returning to the 49ers soon. What did you think of it?
I think he knows a little bit of something that, maybe some of us don't. I mean, they're former teammates, right? Washington, I believe. Yep. Either that or they're boys, But I honestly think that the Trent Williams situation is something where the Niners are like, all right, we get it, Trent. You're not going to be here for training camp. We'll figure it out. They know they can't go on without him. I think they'll take care of it. He'll get his fines. They'll eat that money and pay him accordingly. My take on Trent Williams is, honestly, I just don't think he wanted to go to training camp. He's been in the league for how many years? What if he pulled a hamstring or some silly injury during training camp? I think he honestly said, you know what? It's not worth it for me at this point in my career. I'll take the fines and I'll get my money when the time comes. I really think that's what it was.
And now, obviously he wants the Niners to throw him some more guaranteed money. Some of that money probably pays off some of those fines.
Sure.
So I think you're probably right. I think it probably has a lot to do with, you know what? We've played 20 game seasons the last few years. We've gone to the Super Bowl, all these extra games. I need to take a month off my feet. And the Niners probably said, you know what? That's not the worst thing. We got a bunch of young offensive linemen. We'll let them battle it out throughout the hot month of August and let Trent show up when he shows up. And we'll throw in some sweetener along the way so we can pay his fines and have a little bit left over.
Yeah.
That probably is what's going on.
Most likely. I think that's literally it. I feel like, he's 36 years old. He's a great player, but, the tread on those tires is rolling thin. We got to make sure Trent gets through the whole season, or at least can be, as strong as he can be for the end of the season. So it's in a way like, in the NBA, they do load management. I feel like this is Trent Williams getting ahead of that and saying, hey, man, you guys want me healthy at the end of the season? Make sure I take this month off. He doesn't need to go to training camp. But will he be rusty? That's the question to me. The one thing Deshaun Jackson said in that little clip from Fox Sports is he's been training, he's ready, he's big Trent. So, I mean, obviously Trent Williams is going to keep himself in tip-top shape, but I just don't think he wanted to be out. Those summer days were hot, Larry. You were out there. I was out. It was hot.
It was hot. It's been a lot of hot days. And Trent probably at this point in his career just needs the rest.
Yeah.
Just get off his feet. Just get the rest. They never have seemed worried. Have you noticed that about Trent? Not. They've always seemed like, we're having good dialogue. We're having this. We're having that. It was almost like he told them, hey, guys, by the way, I ain't showing up for camp. So you can make up whatever excuse. We can do it any way you want to do it, but I ain't going to be there. I mean, he may have said that to them when he, said goodbye to them in Vegas. Who knows? Who knows? They've never seemed at all put out, bothered, agitated, surprised, annoyed. None of those things. You know what I mean? They just don't seem like they're any of those things. It's like they knew it was coming, and it doesn't bother them.
Yeah, I feel like they had a sense on this, from the get go. Because I remember there was a report a few months ago before training camp. I don't remember who. I think it was Eric Branch. Somebody had reported that he may be looking for more money when the season or the training camp starts. I can't remember who posted it, but I remember tweeting it out, and people are like, "Oh, of course he wants more money." But it was just that it was guaranteed money. And when that came out, it was again like 4 months ago. I feel like the Niners knew, like, okay, yeah, this is fine. Because they did the same thing with CMC, right? Gave him more money, little extension, guaranteed money, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like they kind of saw it coming because this feels so much different than the Brandon Aiyuk situation. The Brandon Aiyuk, as we know, I'm not going to sit there and, drum it all out. We know it's been very dramatic. This Trent Williams situation is like he's holding out. There's good dialogue. And now today, he'll be in the building. So I don't think it's been a big issue, yeah.
It's weird. It's like, one guy's holding out and there's been no updates, and yet things seem harmonious. The other guy is holding in, going to all the meetings, and yet it feels like they could yank his sheets in the 11th hour and trade him on the eve of the season. I mean, you know what I mean? There's a dramatically different feeling between these two holdouts. All right, let's talk about Aiyuk for a second, because Brandon Aiyuk's long-term contract talks, according to some reports, may be appearing to be headed towards wait for it, a conclusion? What? They're going to wrap this thing up? Are you kidding me? How dare they? But Adam Schefter says that Aiyuk to the Niners, with his name on the dotted line, is the likely conclusion of all these talks. Jordan Schultz is reporting that the Niners and Aiyuk's camp met yesterday and continued to make progress on a deal, a long-term extension for the star wide receiver. Some minor details have to be worked out, and according to the reports, the Niners ownership has to sign off with official approval on some of those minor details, and then it's a done deal, and Aiyuk is back. At the same time, Andrew Filipponi went on 95.7 The Game and said that his new prediction is that on the 7th of September, on the eve of the season, that the Niners will wind up trading Aiyuk to the Steelers for a second and third round draft choice, which, I mean, if that happens, Lynch might as well send himself as well, because, he's going to get roasted. He's going to get roasted by the players, the fans, the media, everybody, if that indeed comes down that way. What do you believe is the latest on Aiyuk? Do you think these reports that we're getting close to a conclusion? Is it possible we may actually get a conclusion here and with Brandon Aiyuk? I have to say it that way because it's so outrageous. The idea that we may get a conclusion. Unbelievable.
Honestly, first and foremost, if the Niners were to send Brandon Aiyuk after all this song, after everything that's transpired, and the conclusion is sending him to Pittsburgh for a second and third round pick, oh my God, they better put a bubble wrap or some type of protective barrier around Levi Stadium, because that place is going down in flames. That would be terrible. I mean, I get it. Brandon Aiyuk has, thwarted trade demand, all the trades. He said, nope, reject. We're not going to Cleveland. We're not going. But if this is what happens, we'll be sick and tired of. But I do think, Larry, that we are reaching a conclusion. We're going to get a conclusion in the Brandon Aiyuk situation. It's crazy. But I do think that the reports that Jordan Schultz and everybody else is reaching, because I feel at this point, there's no way the Niners aren't going to trade him at this point. The trades that they wanted, Brandon Aiyuk didn't want to. He said he's wanted to play with the Niners, just he wants a certain guaranteed money. Niners have wanted him. They're going to figure it out. I think they're going to, reach a bottom line and get it done. It's been a long, drawn-out situation. The Niners usually do this, but this has been, like, the most dramatic one out of all of them they've done it, I feel like, in my recollection, with the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch era. But definitely, Larry, I think when the dust settles in a couple of weeks, we will have a conclusion.
A conclusion.
Yeah, we will.
I hope. This thing has gone on and on and on and on. It's like that movie that the way it's going to end, but it just keeps going, and it's like, oh, just end, please, just end. This contract negotiation, it's like, oh, please, just end, just come to a conclusion. All right. Another topic I want to hit here in relation to Aiyuk before we take a little time out for our better segment here. One thing that's going on is it's a little easier to stomach because it doesn't seem like this is all about the Niners. It seems like this is all about the CBA and the wide receiver position, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because other teams are having issues with, do we pay, do we not pay? Green Bay, do we pay or do we not pay Devontae? Minnesota, and then Buffalo, and then who was after that with the Diggs? Do we pay Diggs? Do we not pay Diggs? He got moved around, I guess, Buffalo this last year. Now, Cincinnati, do we pay Higgins? Do we not pay Higgins? Dallas, do we pay Lamb? Do we not pay Lamb? Niners, do we pay Aiyuk? Do we not pay Aiyuk? Denver, do we pay Cortland Sutton? Do we not pay Cortland Sutton? Do we pay Jerry Jeudy? Do we not pay Jerry Jeudy? It just seems like with these wide receivers, we're getting lots and lots of, Tyreek Hill. Do we pay him? Do we not? Can we afford him? Can we not? It's like some teams are making the decision that these guys are so rare and need to be paid handsomely. Other teams are reaching the conclusion that there's an awful lot of receivers out there, and that it's not like quarterbacks, and you don't have to pay them an extreme price because there's another receiver crop coming down the pike the very next year, and it's bound to be better than this year, and just the way it goes. So it's like some teams want to pay, some teams don't want to pay. The reason this seems a little bit more stomachable is because it doesn't seem like it's the Niners screwing it up as much as it's the wide receiver market. I bring that up because the one thing about the Niner contract talks with Aiyuk that I think is strange is that the distance between where the two sides were and where they are just seems like they took an awful long time to get very small, very little movement. And I'm just kind of wondering if it's really not about the dollars and cents. Is it maybe that Aiyuk doesn't like Shanahan anymore? Is it possible? Because is it possible that the Niners, Lynch and Shanahan, even though they say a lot of good things about Aiyuk, maybe don't like Aiyuk? I don't know. John Lynch claims it's not personal, but it really does seem like they should have been able to close this gap easier than this. I bring this up because if by chance it is personal and it's not really about the money, it's really just more about these guys don't want to be together anymore, then maybe that's what's keeping this kind of like, is he going to be traded or not thing out there. And if the Steelers are offering just picks, that is a true non-starter, right? I mean, you and I have discussed this many times. That doesn't work for the 49ers, their fans, or their players. But if Cincinnati called and they said, you know what, we got this ugly situation with Jamar Chase, and you got this ugly situation with Aiyuk. How about you give us Aiyuk and a number one, and we'll give you Jamar Chase?
Take it.
Knowing everything you know about Aiyuk, everything you know about the Niners drafting, everything you know about Chase, if the Bengals GM, and I don't know who the Bengals GM is, but if the Bengals GM called offering Jamar Chase for Aiyuk and a number one, would you do it?
I mean,
do you think that's a fair trade?
It's a fair trade. Jamar Chase is fantastic. I mean, yeah, giving up a number one would suck, but I think Jamar Chase is.
Is it too much? Is that price too much, or is that price fair?
He's a top 3 receiver. I think the price is fair. He is one of the best receivers in the league. I think Brandon Aiyuk is very good, but I think Jamar Chase is better than him. But again, it would put Brandon Aiyuk in a situation where he'd be number one receiver and he can go improve himself and maybe get the Jamar Chase stats. But I mean, I think it's a fair trade. Obviously, I
You
don't
do think
think
it's a fair trade? You
I
think
do think.
Aiyuk and a 1 for Chase is fair?
Yeah, I agree. I do. I do. I
That's
do.
more me
But
asking. I don't know because I'm always biased in these situations. I'll throw out different trades, different sports throughout the year.
but the
More
thing
times
is,
than
I
not,
think.
people will
But
say,
the
"Oh,
thing is, Larry.
that's a one-sided deal." I'm trying to throw out
I mean,
a
you
fair,
got to. I
plausible
think
deal.
Chase is better than Ayuk, so you would have to give up a little bit more. So maybe a second, the Niners would probably. I don't think they'd give up a first. I think it's fair, but at the same time, would the Niners be able to afford Chase? Jamar Chase. But my take is, I don't really think there's bad blood. John Lynch said it. I think they've patched things up. They've had a lot of meetings. I think whatever needs to have been said has been aired out. I think it's just money. When you go and negotiate your contract, business is business. I think when the dust settles, they'll, reconcile or whatever. It might be a little weird at first, but I don't think that Shanahan and Ayuk have a bad relationship. I mean, you remember when they drafted this man? I mean, they were so ecstatic, especially Kyle. He was like pumping his fist. I still think they really love Brandon Ayuk, but when you're negotiating contracts, it can make everybody's feelings a little, you know, awkward or agitated, because you want your player, you're like, you don't like us, you want more money. And I think the big takeaway, like you said, Larry, is the wide receiver market. It really changed. It was a flux, right? Because I remember when Ayuk was on that Pivot podcast, he says, look, they were so close on a deal, Larry. They were close a couple months back. Had they sealed the deal in March, there wouldn't have been any issues, right? If they would have gave him what he wanted. But then the problem was the market of wide receiver just went boom, boom. You had Amon Ra get paid, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith. Everybody got paid, and then Ayuk's like, hold up, wait a second. All these guys are getting paid. I put up stats similar to them. I don't want what you're giving me, Niners. I want more. So I feel like that really was the change, and maybe that's where the Niners were like, "What happened? We were about to sign Ayuk, and then he changed his mind, and I think that probably soured them moving forward. So they're like, screw it, we're not going to give you another offer, and then now they've reconciled. But I don't think there was any bad blood. It was just market changed.
Market changed a couple times.
Yeah,
Really, market
yeah.
changed a couple times. I think that's really what happened here. All right, this live stream is sponsored by Better, the official daily fantasy sponsor of the Krug Show. Use Better to make daily fantasy lineups and win real money. That's right. Click the link below in the description. Download the app below. Make sure you use the promo code Niners to get your first deposit matched up to $250. I love Better. I've been having a lot of fun with it. And let's play with it right here. Let's come up with our wager du jour, Raj. And once again, this live stream sponsored by Better, the official daily fantasy sponsor of the Krug Show. Use Better to make daily fantasy lineups. You can win real money. Click the link below. Download the app below. Make sure you use that promo code Niners, Niners. You got to use it or you don't save the money to get your first deposit matched up to $250. All you got to do is type in Niners at the promo code, and they will match you up to your first $250. All right, let's go with some rushing yards. Christian McCaffrey, 1,150 and a half rushing yards for the year. That sounds high to me. On this team with all these weapons, with J.P. Mason looking as good as he's looking, with Shanahan vowing maybe to take some of the load off McCaffrey, I'm going to say less. What do you think,
Ooh,
Raj?
I'm going to go over, baby. Smash that over, Larry.
You
I
like
don't
over
care.
the 1150?
Christian McCaffrey today, Kyle Shanahan says he's obsessed. No offense to Olivia, his wife, that he's thinking of routes during going down while he's walking down the aisle. CMC is smashing the over. I think so.
Okay. We'll go more. We'll go with Raj. She says more. We go more. We listen to Raj. Okay, how about Bijan Robinson there at 1,000.5 rushing yards? I like more there as well. I think the Falcons have nice balance offensively, run pass. I think with the quarterback, established, there, the veteran quarterback establishing a little bit more of the passing game. I think they'll have better balance. I like Bijan to go over 1,000 in year 2 here. What do you think?
Yeah, smash that over. I'm with you. Bijan is going to be, he's going to be a guy that wins leagues, Larry. I feel like he's a guy that if you have Bijan on your team, you're going to be very good on your fantasy team. Yeah.
How about Saquon Barkley in Philly? Running behind a good line. He's been running behind a bad line. I think he's going to love life. They've got far better offensive weapons surrounding him, a better line, better quarterback, better team all around. I think he goes over 1,000 yards.
Larry, I want to go under on this one. You
Really?
can go over. You can go over. The only reason is, and I love Saquon, and everything you said was absolutely facts. He's great. They got a good team around him. Can he stay healthy? That is the biggest what if in Saquon
Yep.
Barkley's like. I don't know. I'm gonna tread lightly. I'm Saquon Barkley, but if he stays healthy, that's easy over. Yeah.
Did you see that commercial where the little girl's got the Eagles sweatshirt on and her entire family's got the New York Giants stuff? And she's like, I go where Saquon goes. Did you
Oh,
see
I
that?
haven't seen that.
It
I
was
haven't seen
awesome.
that one. No,
Absolutely
it's
awesome.
good. It's good.
All right. Derrick Henry, 975.5 rushing yards. I like over there. I think Derrick Henry's gonna have a bust out year with Baltimore.
Oh yeah, with him and Lamar, they're gonna run the option run. That's gonna be fun, Larry. Yeah, I take the over on
Let's
Lamar
go
on Henry.
more than 975.5. All right, let's do we have it? Was that through? Do you want to go one more?
Let's do one more, baby.
Let's do one more. Who stands out to you there?
I could barely see it. You're gonna have to see.
Well, I'll give you the names: A Chain, Zach Moss, Najee, Aaron Jones,
Mm.
Devin Singletary, Raheem Mostert, 700 rushing yards for Miami.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good number. That's kind of like probably where he'll be because they got a lot of weapons.
Let's go up top. Let's go back up top. Let's see
Yeah.
here up top. How about how about Josh Jacobs in Green Bay?
Oh, I think
950.5 rushing yards. What are you thinking?
he should thrive there. He should probably at least get 1,100. I'll take the over on that.
Yeah, I like more there too. I was
Yeah.
thinking 1,000 yards for Jacobs. The only way Jacobs doesn't go for 1,000 is if somehow he gets hurt early. They
Yeah,
go to Marshawn Lloyd out of USC and he plays really well. All
I
right,
agree.
let's go. Let's put 40 on it. Let's put 40 on it.
Woo! Let it ride, Larry.
Let's let it ride. Let's let it ride. All right. Oh wait, no, to win 40? I think Kev has put us down for a $10 bet. Is that a $10 wager?
Yeah.
What do we wager there?
So that's we got to wait till the end of the season.
Oh yeah, there we go. So it's a long time to wait. It's a long time to wait. But once again, the official daily fantasy sponsor of the Krug Show is Better.
Better, baby.
We love Better. Use Better to make daily fantasy lineups and win real money. Click the link below in the description. Download the app below and make sure you use that promo code Niners, NINERS, to get your first deposit matched up to $250. Good luck to all of you, and thanks to Better for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. All right, a couple more topics we want to hit with Raj. We talked to Dominic Puni today at camp.
Oh yeah.
And man, this guy looks good. He looks like he's going to start at right guard week 1 against the Jets. Puni, Jarrett Kingston, and Drake Nugent all graded out really highly against the Saints. We found out today that John Feliciano, due to injuries, probably going to wind up missing half the year. What do you think, Raj? Is Puni a plug-and-play starter at right guard? And have the Niners kind of hit here possibly on not one, but maybe 3 young offensive linemen in Puni, Kingston, and Nugent? They all played very well, according to PFF.
Yeah, I'm gonna say for Puni, I'm gonna say yeah right now. He looks like the early showings right now on Puni are remarkable. He looks like he's a veteran and doesn't look like a rookie. He's not your average rookie. The other 2 guys, they played good, but I'm gonna take a little bit more, time to really see if they pan out. They they were up and down in training camp. They had a nice game in preseason, but Dominic Puni, this guy was like 44 pass blocking snaps. He's allowed 1 pressure in the preseason. This guy is dominating. You saw today he talked about that. I think you posted this and I shared it on my story where there's the block where he's holding up his block. He turns around, does a pirouette, and he still gets the guy. Like the awareness was insane, and he still makes like block. He doesn't allow any pressure or anything. Like he's just so athletic. I love Puni. I think they hit on this guy so far. He
Yeah.
looks
Oh,
like
they
it, and
definitely did.
they did. And as bad as the injuries have been to the O line, it was a blessing for Puni because Burford goes down. Feliciano's been dealing with the knee. It really opened the door for Puni to take all those snaps in training camp, and I think he's benefited. He's getting all the reps. He's developing. He's blossoming. This guy, he's a starter. He's going to be a very good player on this team. I'm excited. He has a good mentality about him. Like you could tell, like last week on that, they showed the little video from Brick by Brick, and he was like, I can't waste my opportunity. He just has it. I like him.
Here is the little Q&A I asked him earlier today in Santa Clara. This guy's really
Yeah,
interesting
this
guy.
is it. This is good.
Here's Dominic Puni.
First preseason game, you seemed like you kind of almost picked up Mason and kind of threw him across the line.
Yeah.
What did you see on that play? And is that kind of the job of an offensive lineman? You got to just kind of be prepared to help out any way you can. Huh?
Yeah. So I mean, just pushing the pile is like a lineman thing. I think it's also just fun to do because like anytime you're on the 1 yard line or your running back's on the 1 yard line, I mean, you don't want to you don't have to get up and run another play. So you might as well just go try and get him in now. I just pulled around, got the linebacker out the way, and I just saw him. He was just kind of stood up at the 1 yard line. And I was like, I mean, why not just go try and score now? So yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
You gotta love an offensive lineman. I saw him stand there. I was just like, why not? I'll just push him. I'll just push him over the line of scrimmage. Yeah, Puni is the real deal. That was a nice get. That was a nice get by the Niners. And he looks like the kind of guy who's going to be, a really good player for a lot of years.
Yeah.
He plays with urgency. He plays hard. He plays to win. And that sounds cliche or like, well, who doesn't play to win, Krug? It's not that guys don't play to win. It's that some guys don't live to win. And this guy lives to win. I mean, this is a guy who's very, very competitive. And there's several examples of things that he's said and done since he's been a 49er that kind of scream out, I'm an incredible competitor. What does that mean? That means that you do whatever it takes. That means when you see the back sitting right there and he's hovering at the 1.5 yard line and you're right there, you just bulldoze him in. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, let's score the touchdown.
Yeah.
So
I like how he said you don't need to run another play. Let's get off the field and score the damn touchdown. I love the mentality.
And the play the one that I just asked him about the stepping on the foot. So he's pass protecting. He steps on Colton McKivit's inside foot, right?
Mm-hmm.
His inside foot. And then so he knows that McKivitz isn't going to be able to kick out on the speed rusher. And so he turns around and flips around and then was like, because he held up McKivitz by holding his foot down, he knew McKivitz couldn't get out there to make the block. So he shortcutted it and went out there and made the block. I mean, that's a level of resourcefulness. If we had seen that level of resourcefulness in the Super Bowl, maybe the Niners would have had a parade.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't see those type of moves on a rookie offensive lineman most of the time. Like, that is urgency you only see from a veteran. Like, this guy's a very, very good player, good communication. He's got good natural instincts. He's going to be special. He's a gem, man. I really love the draft pick. And honestly, overall, from what I've seen in this preseason so far, and training camp for that matter, this rookie class looks good. They look pretty good so far. I'm impressed.
Yeah. No, I mean, if there's a theme of the early going of training camp, it's that the 49ers have a really nice looking rookie class. Dominic Puni, Renardo Green. Renardo Green, they've been playing Renardo Green outside with the injury to Yadam. Malik Mustafa, 58 of Mustafa's 86 snaps have come at free safety. Jacob Cowing, he played 56 snaps, only 15 in the slot against the Saints. And then Kingston and Tatum Bethune's led them in tackles. I mean, there's been a lot of good looking rookies. Let's talk about Cowing for a second. 4.3 speed. He busted out this weekend against the Saints. 4th round pick. And Ricky Pearsall remains out with the shoulder. I think Cowing, I had Cowing on the roster. A lot of people didn't, but I think after the Saints performance, he most definitely is on. I think Cowing might be better than Pearsall long term. What do you think of Cowing?
I love the guy. I mean, I had him making the roster for sure. I mean, fourth round pick. You're not going to cut a fourth round pick. Guy's got speed. I mean, this guy can do the end around. You saw the little end around type play. That's the gadget play that Kyle used to do with Debo Samuel. Maybe they'll throw Cowing in there to take some pressure off Debo. He has the speed on the outside. I mean, that play from Dobbs where he throws it on the outside, that was an incredible catch. I mean, unbelievable. He was good in space. He was good over the middle, and he was a good return man. Like, this guy is very talented. And you know, as far as Pearsall, we all want to see him play. The thing about Pearsall is right now he's not doing himself any favors by being hurt. Now maybe they're being cautious, maybe they're being safe, but I feel like the Pearsall injury maybe is one reason why the 49ers are putting more urgency on saying we got to get this Brandon Aiyuk situation figured out, because maybe they thought Pearsall was going to come in and take some pressure off the situation, but it's not the case. But Jacob Cowing looks very impressive in his first game he played, because last time he had the hamstring issue he was dealing with. I mean, he came in 5 catches. Would he have like 70 yards? He was moving, man. He was moving. I like what I saw out of him.
Yeah, Cowing really, really looks good, and he's a good route runner. He separates. He's got good hands. He really, has looked he looked great on the first day. Then he suffered the hamstring. Then he looked kind of like gimpy for a few days. Now he's healthy again, and he just is. The guy runs great routes, and he does nothing but produce. The Buccaneers released Randy Gregory. He was with the Niners last year. Drake Jackson done for the year. I think I look at this Niner D line and I think, you know what? They're going to take 10 D linemen, 5 tackles, 5 ends. I think the 5 tackles are there. The 5 ends, I think they've got 4 ends. I don't know if they've got a 5th end. Would you re-sign Randy Gregory if, not if he's cut? The Bucs already released him. Should they take a look at Gregory for that 5th defensive end spot?
I wouldn't like kicking the tires on him, but I know they said he didn't report to the Buccaneers. They didn't know what was going on, so I don't know. I'd have to figure out the situation, see if there's any personal things going on, see what's going on there, because it was mysterious. Like, nobody knew why he was getting released. Again, he didn't show up, so I don't know what the situation on that is. But regardless, if it's Randy Gregory or somebody, they need to get another offensive or defensive lineman, edge rusher specifically, because they don't really have depth. Drake's hurt. Yetur Gross-Matos, the tweener, he's not really a pure edge rusher. Floyd and Bosa, so they're going to have their hands full. They're going to be doing everything. And then who else is going to be rushing the passer? Robert Beal. Robert Beal's still so young. I don't know if he is going to take that big leap this year. Last year he was hampered by the hamstring. I've been watching him, watch the film. I didn't really have too much get off this week, but, it's one preseason game. So I would definitely love to see them get another edge rusher.
I would too. I don't know if it's going to be Joseph Osai or Darrell Taylor. There was a rumor this week that the Raiders may trade Tyree Wilson, that they're really unhappy with Tyree. They just drafted him in the top 10 a year ago, but he's the kind of guy that has a lot of talent that Chris might be able to get that talent out of him. I'd be willing to move a pick if I could get that defensive end. It might be, if you can get a good defensive end to add to this mix, that might be enough to vault you over the top in the NFC. All right, roster battles. Let's just run them down. There's a bunch of roster battles, and let's just go through it. Who is your QB2? Dobbs or Allen?
Josh Dobbs, man. I had Allen ahead of Dobbs, but this week, man, I was really impressed by Dobbs. He shows urgency. He shows like he has that ability where he wants to score, and he's a playmaker. Now, I know Dobbs has done this in the past places. He'll have this like Linsanity run, and then he'll come back down to earth. But I really do like Dobbs. I feel like Kyle likes his ability to run. Now, don't kill me, everybody. I feel like this is what they envisioned out of Trey Lance when they had him, like the ability to run, pass on the run, be a little elusive. I like Dobbs. I think he's QB2 right now.
Yeah, to me, it's a dead heat. I think I had Brandon Allen coming into this game. I think you got to give Dobbs a little bit of the edge after this last game. I need to see the Raider game. To me, I think that's what's on the line in a lot of ways in this Raider game is who's the number 2 quarterback. All right, who's the number 3 quarterback?
I know you're going to see Tanner Mordecai, but it's still Brandon Allen.
And is the number 3 quarterback on the roster or on the practice squad?
Probably, I don't think they're going to waste a roster spot on a third one when you can pull up a roster, a player on game day. Their whole little third quarterback rule now. I don't think they're going to carry 3 quarterbacks. I think they'll have 2. Brandon Allen can stay on the practice squad. I feel like. I like what
he's got to get. Well, he's got to get to the practice squad.
Yeah, they're going to be able to release him.
Do you think they'll be able to get him there?
Yeah, I think so. I liked what I saw. It's Tanner Mordecai.
I like Mordecai quite a bit. I think Mordecai is going to be on that practice squad.
Okay.
I think I'd probably like to have 4 quarterbacks just based on the way the Niners seasons have gone. You know what I mean? Okay. To have 3 on the roster and a 4th on the practice squad. But you know what? I also, and this is a big issue for me, I don't want to cut any of those corners.
Yeah.
The 49ers, just doing a quick perusal. This to me is the most difficult decision that they're going to have to make at the cut down is which NFL caliber corner do you cut between Demo Lenore, Mooney Ward, Isaac Yadam, Ambry Thomas, Rock Yassin, Renardo Green, Samuel Womack, Chase Lucas, Darrell Luter. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 9 corners. They're all pretty good, except for Chase Lucas. I would say.
I can't. Ambry Thomas broke. He's gone, Larry. How many corners do they usually keep? 6? Is it 6?
5. Usually 5, sometimes 6.
Okay.
I would keep 7. I would keep 7. I really would. I'd find another spot because I want to keep Charvarius, Yadam, Lenore, Green, Yassin, Womack, and Luter. I'll cut Lucas and I'll cut Ambry, or I'll put Ambry on the IR.
Yeah, Ambry's either going to IR or he's going to play
for
the Shanghai Sharks. That boy better learn Chinese, Larry. I think that you keep 6. I think Diamond Lenore, Mooney Ward, Renardo Green. You got Isaac Yadam as long as his ankle is healthy. And then you got Darrell Luter. And it's going to be between Sam Womack and Chase Lucas. And I think, and Rock Yassin. I don't think Rock Yassin's done enough to make the 53. Okay. I got Sam Womack or Chase Lucas. I like Chase Lucas for special teams, but Sam Womack also similar kind of role. So it's going to be down to those 2. Raiders game's going to be big for them. I
don't want to cut Womack or Luter. All right, running back 5, assuming that it goes CMC, Juice, Elijah Mitchell, JP Mason as the front 4. If those are your first 4 running backs, who's your 5th running back between Guerendo, Breida, Schrader, Taylor, and Vaughn?
Oh, I like Schrader, man. I just think that's a guy that you don't cut. And I think Kyle's kind of keep him. I feel like he's not trying to showcase him too much during the preseason because they know if he does get a good workload, he'll explode on the tape, and I think he'll get snagged up. But I really like Schrader, man. I don't want to see them Niners. I don't want to see the Niners lose Schrader.
I was in that opinion a week ago. Go with Schrader. Now, after watching Guerendo at practice today and just watching Schrader go for 2.1 a carry and just look a little, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but a little out of his class, I think Schrader might get through waivers and you could put him on the practice squad. Okay. I think Guerendo with the 4.3 speed at 225 is going to be. I got to protect those measurables. I got to give him a 1-month tryout and see what he's got, especially if he shows any. This is Isaac Guerendo week right now. He's got to show something in practice. He's got to show something in the game. Yeah. But if he does, to me, he's RB5. Okay. All right. How about WR6? Who's your 6th wide receiver? If the first 5 are Debo, Aiyuk, JJ, Cowing, and Pearsall, because now Pearsall could start on the IR, or the PUP. But let's just say those guys start on the active. Those are your 5. You're going to keep 6. Who's your 6th guy? Trent Taylor, Chris Conley, Ronnie Bell, Tay Martin. I think Tay Martin might be the best receiver of the group, but I think I'd probably go with Conley or Taylor or Trent Taylor.
Yeah, I thought, and I said this. I said, hold me to it. I thought Trent Taylor was going to make this team, but you can't take him over Chris Conley, man. Chris Conley deserves to make this roster. It'd be a disservice to Chris Conley if he doesn't make this roster. He's worked his ass off, and he's a good veteran. I think Chris Conley makes this roster.
Okay, I like that. I mean, Conley, and I think Conley plays a significant role on special teams.
Yeah, he's so good.
So that's a good one. All right, tight end 3. If Kittle is tight end 1, Sarbert is tight end 2. Who's tight end 3?
This was the worst battle of camp and preseason. I'm gonna go Braden Willis though.
It's funny. All these guys, I there's no doubt in my mind that I would go Pline, but I think he needs to be a practice squad guy. And I think the way they're dealing with Pline, not letting him play in the games, is like clear. They're trying to slide him through to the practice squad. So I think he's practice squad. I think he's ticketed for practice squad. Latu has got probably the best body between these guys. He's a bigger body than Tongues or Tongus or whatever. Braden Willis is a good receiver, but God, he got dominated as a blocker.
Not a good blocker, yeah.
I might go Pline to the practice squad and see if I could pick up somebody around the league.
Pick up somebody.
Braden Willis. Braden Willis has got to be. He's not as a good enough receiver to compensate for being that bad of a blocker.
Yeah, he's
Latu,
bad.
I don't think can be trusted. Tongus is not strong enough. He makes Dwelly look strong.
I told you that was the worst battle of all. Like that tight end battle, that tight end room behind Saubert and Kittle it's bad. Like it is.
I'd go Kittle, Saubert, and Pline if I had to go 3, but I think they're going to go Kittle, Saubert, Pline to the practice squad, and probably Willis.
I agree with that. I think you're right. I don't know. Can we clone George Kittle?
I wish. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Another job. Defensive end 5. So you got Bosa, you got Floyd, you got Yatir Gross-Matos, and you got Beal, who I don't mind Beal as a backup defensive end because he's super athletic.
Yeah.
But you lost Drake Jackson. This is where I think the Niners have to go. I know Alex Barrett had a nice game, but he's more of a career practice squad guy. This is where if I were the 49ers, I'd be willing to trade a 2025 draft choice to get one more edge rusher that I think could heat up the quarterback. Because I think with the secondary they have and the young linebackers that they have, if the Niners can come up with one more defensive end who can heat up the quarterback in a rotation, nobody's going to want to beat nobody. I don't think there's a team in the conference that can hold a candle to them. But they do need this piece, and it's not in the camp. I don't see it.
No, it's not. I agree. I mean, if they don't pick up anybody, I guess that next spot goes to Alex Barrett, who looks good in preseason. But you're right; he's not going to be a difference maker in the regular season. I wish they would have got Matt Judon. Not going to lie to you somehow.
Yeah.
Because Judon, Leonard Floyd, Nick Bosa, it's wraps. It would have been over. Honestly, if they can make a move for someone, Larry, make it. If there's anybody available, I don't know if there's any good free agents out there at this point, do it because they need another edge rusher. I'm not sold with, like I said, Robert Beal. He was getting pushed around a lot. He's still figuring it out. Last year, his rookie season, he was injured. So, he's one of those raw prospects where he needs time to fill out. And we got a Super Bowl window. We can't be wasting it on guys that need time to figure it out.
Who do you want to start week 1 opposite Jair Brown at safety? You want to start George Odom? You want to start Tracy Walker, Malik Mustafa, assuming Hafanga's not ready because he's not going to be ready to play this week. I think it's pretty clear that he's not going to be ready for week 1. Yeah. So who do you want? You want Odom, who's a career special teamer, or you want Mustafa, who's a rookie, but man, he's impressive. What do you think?
Give me the rook. Give me Malik Mustafa. We talked about this
agree.
rookie class. Malik Mustafa, the missile. He's got instincts. He might get burned a few times here and there, but let this young man learn, figure it out, because he's the future. Him and Jair Brown, the future. I want Hufanga to be healthy. I want him to be ready. Don't rush him. Kyle said he's got an open. The door's still open for him to be there for week 1, which tells me he's not starting week 1. Malik Mustafa and Jair Brown. Cook. That's what I need.
Yeah. Okay. Couple last ones. I think this is a huge week for Isaac Guerrero. I think he's the guy to keep an eye on this week in the Raider game.
Okay.
2 last questions. Give me a player that, and this happens, right? Nothing is static. Everything's dynamic in our world. I agree wholeheartedly with the person who said you're either getting better or you're getting worse. You are not staying the same. So give me a player this summer that for whatever reason you have soured on. Give me a player a 49er player that, man, you felt better about this guy early in the summer than you do right now, and you've kind of soured on him.
Okay, man. Actually, Aaron Banks. I was a big
Aaron Banks.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me why.
I don't know. I just don't think he's like. I thought he was a really great lineman, but over the last training camp, I just didn't see enough of and then he breaks the finger. I know it's a minor thing. He can come back, but I don't know. To me, I feel like he'll be this is a contract year for Banks, and he'll probably get paid, and he'll probably price himself out of the Niners' budget. And I don't think it's that big of a loss, honestly. I think he looks good because he plays next to Trent Williams. We didn't have Trent Williams in training camp, and Aaron Banks didn't look dominating to me. He really didn't. I'm gonna go Aaron Banks.
Okay, that's fair. I get 2. I'm gonna go Cody Schrader, who I really loved coming into the camp, but he just he just couldn't he just doesn't look dynamic. Part of it's the Niner offensive line. Part of it is he just needs to adjust to the league. But to me, I'm a little down on him based on what I was thinking. And the other one's Ronnie Bell, and these guys are both kind of similar guys. They're really good college football players who just lack that extra gear, that extra athleticism. And Ronnie Bell just has regressed this year. Last year, he caught everything. He caught every ball in camp. This year, he's not showing those ball skills. He needs it, and he's not going to make it because of it. Last one. What excites you most about the 49ers season ahead? Most exciting thing about the season ahead to you?
So many different things. I think the biggest thing is Brock Purdy, man. Is he going, this is essentially contract year for Brock, right? Last year, we all know the talk. He didn't, get a full off season. This is the first off season he's got to go in, and he's QB1. He didn't have rehab and everything. I'm excited to see what the hell Brock Purdy's going to do. Will he earn the big contract? If he had an MVP season last year, I'm excited to see what he can do this year. I think Brock Purdy for sure is a big, excitement for me. Also, player like Jair Brown, and I think he's going to take a massive leap this year, and we're going to see a kind of like a year 2 breakout the way that Talanoa Hufanga did in year 2. I feel like those two are one on defense. I want to pick a defensive guy, and then one on offense. So I'm excited about a lot, but I'm excited to see what Brock Purdy can do this year.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm very excited about Brock Purdy as well. I'm going to go with I'm really excited for the Bosa Floyd combo coming off the edges on third down.
Yeah.
I just think when you have Nick Bosa and you can add Leonard Floyd with all of his moves, all of his wisdom, all of his explosiveness, all of his production, now you got a legit speed threat opposite Bosa. Bosa runs into very few sacks. He's going to run into a few this year because of Floyd. And I just think that Bosa is going to love Floyd. So to me, that's really, really exciting. And then to me, the other 2 areas, I think depth on your football team is a really important thing. And where do you need it? I think you need it in 2 areas. You need it on the offensive line and the defensive backfield. Because when you run out of offensive linemen, there's nowhere to go to find these guys. It's like you just got to wait till the next year in the draft. So to me this year, adding Dominic Puni, Drake Nugent, who looks tremendous at center, Jarrett Kingston, who looks tremendous at guard. I really even liked what I've seen out of Hubbard. I just like between their starters, and now they've got quality depth backing up Jalen Moore, Burford, Barch, Feliciano, Hubbard. You got guys who have played. Now you got 3 or 4 rookies that are pretty intriguing as well. I just love the quality of the depth on the offensive line and in the defensive backfield. I mean, this Niner defensive backfield, when you start looking around out of practice and you're like, wow, Demo just made a play. Wow, Yadam just made a play. Wow, Jair Brown just made a play. It's like, wow, Mooney just made a play. And then you look up and you're like, whoa, Rock Ya-Sin looks better than you think. And Renardo Green looks better than you think. And wow, here's Womack and here's Luter and Malik Mustafa. They got a lot of guys. Yeah. They got a lot of young guys. And to me, go look at you got 3 veteran corners in Yadam, Rock Ya-Sin, and Mooney Ward, but they're all young veterans. They're all 28. They're not 32-year-old veterans. They're 28-year-old veterans. And then you got this core of guys that are like 22, 23, 24 between Jair and Lenore and Renardo and Womack and Luter and Matt Mustafa. I mean, all these guys are 22, 23. So that's a ton of big-time secondary talent. So the number one thing I'm excited about outside of the edge rushers is the quality depth in the secondary and the offensive line. I think that really bodes well for the year because you lose guys at those 2 spots. And the old coach used to say it, man, the key to pass coverage is pass coverage. In other words, there ain't no key to pass coverage. You got to have dudes. Yeah. And last year, the Niners cut Deshaun Jameson. Within 2 weeks of that cut, they were looking for corners off the street. So I just hope they don't cut their corners.
No, I don't. I think they learned their lesson, and they went heavy in getting defensive back depth over the last year because you just named it. All those players like Diamond Lenore, I'm super hyped on. I'm expecting a big year from Diamond. I think many of us are. We all know this is a big year for Demo. Contract season, so I think he's going to go crazy. But I feel like the 49ers. Their secondary this year is so much better than what it was about 2-3 years ago. Remember, we had to go sign what's the guy that was always getting called for holding? I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Brian Allen?
No, not Brian Allen. It was not Brian Allen. I know the chat will do me justice. The guy who was on Carolina, what was his name? I can't think of his name. Oh my God, he cost us Josh Norman. Yeah, thank you. He cost us so many games. Remember when our secondary was so bad 2-3 years ago? It was so bad. And now our secondary could be one of the best in the league, man. This is
and watching these guys in practice, I mean, each one of these guys is something. I mean, Luter is just long-armed, super athletic, smothering. Womack has got tremendous break on the ball. I mean, Renardo Green the same. They just got a bunch of guys. Lenore looks like, in fact, it was a report today from Jeremy Fowler that the Niners, in addition to signing up, Aiyuk and Trent, may sign Lenore to a long-term extension this year before the end of the year. That would be great to see.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm definitely excited on this secondary group. It's going to be a fun group. You got a lot of good players. Yeah.
All right, let's hit our starred chats and we'll bolt for the door. We got a brand new member here, JP Hella Hard 2800. There we go. Thank you, JP. Thanks for jumping aboard. We got this one from 49er _ throwback. Larry, Aiyuk really needs to rethink things. Should be consider going to Pittsburgh after what we saw. Should he consider going to Pittsburgh after what we saw Wilson and Fields do in the preseason game? Yeah, their offense was so bad. If you really want to play and for catching balls from Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, and you want to move from San Francisco, California to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and leave Shanahan and Purdy and all these weapons to go play for that outfit, go for it, bro. Go for it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Go for it. That can't possibly work out. Rivera says Larry loves Tanner Mordecai. I do. I really do.
You do. That's your boy.
I love Tanner Mordecai. Half Dead says Larry, name the starting secondary. Starting secondary, in my mind, ought to be Mooney outside with Lenore, and I would probably I'd go Mooney outside with Renardo Green with Lenore. I think I'd start the rookie. Yeah, I'd start the rookie outside opposite Mooney and play Lenore at the nickel. And I'd bring the rest of the guys would play off the bench. I like Renardo Green. I think he's a starter. He's a second-round pick.
Wow. So, yeah, he's a good player. Dog, man. You think he's going to start over?
And I like Mustafa. I agree with Raj. I go with Mustafa and Jair.
I like it. I like that. I like the rookie. You know what? Renardo Green, if he's good enough to start him. Second round. You're right. Second round pick. Dog, baby.
Second round picks start all the time. It's the NFL. And half dead since Larry named the starting secondary. There it was. All right, Raj, what do you got cooking the rest of the week? How's your week going? What do you got planned? We missed seeing you guys out of camp, man. The fan portion of camp has come and gone.
I know. It was fun being at camp, man. I missed it. And then I had to go back to my job and work and stuff. But yeah, I'll be online, be doing my thing, posting, getting all the content up just like normal. Excited though that the season's going. I don't know. Maybe next year I'll be you can get me in the media row or something for training camp. I don't know. We got to figure it out.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. Wouldn't mind seeing you down there. That's going to do it for us. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Go to Emeryville, Corte Madera, get some brisket chili. Tell them that Krug sent you. Thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. And, of course, thanks to Better for sponsoring the Krug Show. Thanks to Raj. Thanks to all of you. Until next time, peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of.